Hey, I'm Don Carr, and today we're going to talk about how to set the intonation on your electric guitar. I'm here at the Sweetwater Guitar Shop with luthier Greg Reszel. Hey, Greg.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm awesome.
Hey, I love your shop, by the way.
I love it too. It's a big improvement. Not as crowded. Nice and quiet.
Yeah, so, quiet is good. Quiet is good because you can hear what you're doing that way.
Yeah.
So what's the first thing you start looking for when you need to set intonation on a guitar?
Well, first off, intonation is critically important because your frets are all hopefully put in exactly according to a mathematical equation.
In the right spot.
And most manufacturers are using CNCs, so we're going to assume they're perfect.
Yeah.
However, to be calibrated and correct, your saddles have to be correct according to those frets. And also different string tensions need compensation.
Right.
So intonation is basically the compensation for those parameters. It gets deeper than that, but that's basically what we're doing. We're setting the saddles so your guitar is best in tune all up and down the neck.
Right, because typically, somebody has a guitar and they're playing it, and it's like, well, it's in tune here, but it's not in tune here, and it's not in tune here, so...
The G chord's great, but when I go to play the A,
Yeah.
That's the age-old problem.
Mm-hmm.
You can never make it perfect, but you can make it as best as possible by getting these saddles to be adjusted the way they're supposed to be, and that's what we're going to show them today.
Yeah, that's great. So when somebody comes in with a guitar that has a specific problem, where do you start looking?
I want to see their strings. I want to see if they're ancient, they got big dents in them, they're rusty, they're not ringing well. Yeah. That's a big sign. Obviously change the strings, keep fresh strings.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at the bridge itself because doing this for so many years, I see like a stair-step pattern. I go, that one's kind of violating the pattern, something's not right here. And then I'll play it, I'll check the setup. The guitar needs to be set up, neck adjusted where you want to, action adjusted where you want to, with the brand, gauge, and tuning of your setup. All those things, even though some of them don't affect things as much as others, the big picture, they make a big difference. So
exactly, because if you've got an 11 gauge set and you drop tune a half step, that's going to be a lot different than standard tuning with a set of nines.
Yeah. When you fret a note, the string is obviously pulled taut and straight. When you fret a note, you pull it out of that straight down to the fretboard. Even though it's not very much, that's stretching it, that's stretching the tuning, that's part of what you compensate for. So a different tuning, a different gauge, even a different brand, they're all gonna give you different readings. So you wanna set it for your preferred brand and try to keep it that way. Sometimes that can be splitting hairs. You're using this brand, you wanna switch to 10s, the same gauge of another brand. Don't sweat it too much, but if you wanna be perfect, keep your same set, then set it for that. You ready for the basic mechanics of how to do it?
Sure.
Okay. Guitar setup, in tune, strings are stretched out, reasonably well played in. We're gonna go to a good tuner. We're gonna play the 12th fret harmonic, and then we're gonna fret it. We're gonna compare those two on the tuner, and we'll see a discrepancy or not, depending on how it is. If the fretted note is sharper, make the string longer. If the fretted note is flatter, make the string shorter. That's the gist of it. So I mentioned the setup. If you have more than one pickup on your guitar, use the neck most pickup. The reason why is this gives the best signal with the least overtones. There's tons of overtones going on here, and a bridge pickup seems to be more trebly and bright, and it doesn't read as well. If your guitar only has one pickup, does that mean you can't intonate it? Absolutely not. You can intonate it fine. But if you have a neck pickup, use it. The next thing is, particularly on a Strat, lower the pickups out of the way, because if they're too close, we want to get all that full volume when we're playing. If they're too close, they cause distortions and warble and things that will give you a bad reading. So you're going to want to lower your pickups out of the way, okay? Sometimes I'll pull, if I have a problem guitar, guy's using 8s, or 9s, and he's tuned down a half step, and he's got that pickup, even like at a normal height, I say, I'm gonna pull that out of the way just so I can get a clear reading. When I'm done, I'll put it back. But I wanna see what the string is doing regardless of what the pickup is throwing. The pickup's throwing some kind of curveball at me, and I wanna eliminate the curveball. I wanna see the clearest signal I can. The next thing you do, I talked about, make sure you mute all the strings except the one you're playing, the one you're intonating. Reason why that is because of sympathetic vibration. On the same note, you might, do some sort of mute. I stuck a rubber band on there just for doing this video. You want to mute the sympathetic vibration there. If you got springs, you stick something back there that'll, you know, make those not ring. So you want to get the clearest signal possible. So you want to throw it on the bench then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're set up and ready to go. Looks good. I see you have the pickup adjusted already out of the way. Nice, nice. Let's talk about tuners.
Tuners. I like strobe tuners. They're super accurate. They allow you to see a super fast, non-latent picture of what the string is doing. All the techs here at Sweetwater, we use a Peterson 490. I have some other tuners plugged in. We have the Strobo Stomp, and we have the Korg OT120. I really like needle tuners. Before I was able to afford strobe, Korg, way back when, had a really cool needle tuner. I don't remember the model number. But to see how accurate these tuners all are, you'll notice they're all kind of reading sharp.
Yeah.
When everything's moving this way, we're obviously sharp. Going the other way, we're flat. Now when I set it up on end, just the difference in gravity, that's how touchy all these tuners are. A headstock clip-on tuner might not catch that as well. Can you use it? Sure, but try to get the best tuner you can afford, okay? Typically when I'm gonna do my intonation, I'm gonna have the guitar up in the playing position. We're gonna go ahead and set it down for this video so you guys can see everything, but typically I'll put it in the playing position because you saw what gravity does to the neck. It could actually give you a different truss rod reading. So, I mean, we're splitting hairs here, but you want to get everything as perfect as you can. But
yeah, that is kind of the point, right?
Yeah. For illustration, we'll put it right on the back. Okay.
Cool. I'm going to let you take it, man. I'm stepping out.
Yeah, you're kind of crowding me.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. Kidding.
Nice.
Yeah. So, remember, guitar is in tune. You have a relatively fresh set of strings. As a matter of fact, it's not a bad idea to have a set of strings that might be played in a day or two. You want them to all break in. Everything's tuned, set up. We have the headstock muted with the rubber band. I've got my springs with a rubber band, so you don't get any sympathetic vibrations. Remember, whatever string we're intonating, you want to shut the rest of them up. You want the one string to vibrate, that's it. So I'm gonna check the tuning. I'm gonna retune it because of the gravity that we talked about. And then I'm gonna hit the 12th fret harmonic. And then I'm going to fret it, and I'm going to compare the two. Notice how it's tilting slightly to the right, meaning the fretted note is sharper. We're going to make the string longer. I like to check it. I want to make sure that I got it right. I take several tunings and several readings, because sometimes you might have rocked your finger a little bit. So we're comparing the two. Now I'm getting a little bit flat. See, that's why I do it several times. Okay, so we're gonna make the string shorter. Now when you do make an adjustment, take the end of your screwdriver, and what you're doing is you're seating that string down, because what happened is the string was all kinked over in that position. Now you just moved it and it's really not seated. So make sure you seat that adjustment you just made. Recheck your tuning. Do your 12th fret harmonic. Still a little flat. Still a little more. I'm going to adjust it a little more. That string is intonated.
Very nice. I like how it's a little bit of give and take. I like that.
It's super touchy. You know, just at first I thought I had to go one way, and that's like I take many readings. You know, because sometimes your finger pressure might not be right, or you know, something like that. So repeat the process for all 6 strings. Whenever I have to go sharper, I usually loosen the string, because when you have to make the string longer, it puts a lot of tension on it. You could maybe possibly strip your screw out. You don't want to do that. Possibly break a string. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the evil 3rd string, plain versus wound. Most players will use a plain 3rd because we like to bend our strings. However, it is the one that causes the most intonation issues. That's why when the G string is compensated, it's usually way back because it's so unstable. I will often tell a player that if they're not bending strings, to use a wound third. It's more stable, it rings true. So that's just a side road. Good. So I'm going to tune it up in the playing position and we're done. What do you think, Don?
Sounds good, man. Nice work.
You haven't heard me play yet. And that's it.
Ah, sounds beautiful, Greg. Great work, as usual. You do such good work.
Thank you. These are the things that will get your guitar set where it needs to be, the best possible, you know. So you're in tune, and that's the goal.
It sounded good, right? Because, I mean, if you're not in tune, forget it, right?
Right. They're going to start throwing stuff at you, which happens to me anyway.
But even though you are in tune.
Right. All right.
Well, thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
And thanks for watching. If you have any questions about intonation or guitar setup or anything at all, make sure to contact your Sweetwater sales engineer or check us out online at sweetwater.com. Thanks.